Jibaku Shonen Hanako-kun. Man, that's fun to say. Some of you may have seen this anime floating around. It actually just came out, 2020, and I haven't really seen that many people talking about it. I don't know how savvy you guys are with the new 2020 anime. This anime features a ghost that haunts the bathroom stalls and will grant any wish to a student who summons him at a price, of course. And some of you might be wondering, well, Dan Fan, why are you using the Japanese title for this manga series? What does it mean? Well, the Japanese title would directly translate to Dead Boy Hanako-kun. The joke there is that Hanako-kun is a girl's name, but despite that, it is a boy named Hanako-kun, and not only is he a boy, he's dead. Well, as the English translated title that they decided to use was Toilet-Bound Hanako-kun, which is a joke because, haha, toilets. Now, to some extent, I can kind of get the marketing behind the name change. If you want to quickly get across that this is a comedy anime, it makes sense to have something a little bit bizarre in the title. It's the same thing for Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? They specifically gave it like that kind of comedic long title to get across the point that it's comedy. But even that title doesn't make any sense for that anime anymore because it's actually got a plot to it. It's not just comedy. And Hanako-kun is also not a series that just is strictly comedy. There is a plot behind it. So as someone who unironically enjoys this series, it's kind of frustrating to have to call it Toilet-Bound Hanako-kun because people are just gonna look at me with an eyebrow raised like, what the fuck are you watching? I was introduced to this series through the anime before I switched to the manga. It legitimately was the title that made me think, I wonder what that's about. But mostly because I was just looking for something goofy to watch. I wasn't expecting it to actually be good. But anyway, getting to the actual manga series, I gotta say, the art style, it almost turned me off, and I feel like it would probably turn a big portion of its audience off because it feels very, well, it's very cartoonish compared to the normal style of anime that we've gotten used to over the years. It doesn't look like a shonen. It looks very chibi, and it looks like all the characters are in elementary school. It certainly fooled me, but no, they're supposed to be freshmen in high school. Of course, all anime takes place in high school, right? But if you're not used to that super cartoony, chibi-like art style with your anime, it'll throw you off. The style kind of reminds me of Panty and Stocking in that sense, with just how cartoonish it is for being an anime, but also the very bright colors that they tend to use on the covers. And as most shows that involve ghosts in them, it's a little bit of a spooky style in some areas, you know, like creepy looking smiles, weird eyes, that type of stuff. And of course, the colors also play a part in that. There are a lot of charming things about the style as well. Like the main character, she has like these very thick cartoonish legs. And at first I thought that that was just because of the style, because, you know, Panty and Stocking's legs are kind of like the same style. But they actually made it a canon thing in the show that she's supposed to have fat legs, and that's just supposed to be a very bizarre thing about her, a very bizarre character trait that she has fat legs. And I thought that was really funny and clever. This main character, this poor girl, she's like actually pretty and cute, but she focuses so much on this one flaw about herself, that she has fat legs. Like it's the end of the world because she has fat legs and nothing else about her could possibly be cute enough to conquer her fat legs. Very relatable in that sense. Whenever any girl like notices a flaw within themselves, they think it's the end of the world, there's nothing cute about them at all. And then of course you have Hanako-kun. He also has like very interesting visual quirks. Obviously he's a ghost, so sometimes he'll look a little bit like creepy and ghoulish, but he has his hands up like this in a lot of the shots, and it just kind of adds that layer of like ghoulish ghostness to him, and it's just a nice little visual quirk that I enjoyed. So getting into the story without spoiling too much, because I don't want to spoil too much for you. The main character, Nene, has heard the rumors about a ghost that haunts the girl's bathroom stall. This ghost girl named Hanako is supposed to grant your any wish so long as you pay a price, and you won't know what the price is until it's already gone. So our main character, Nene, is hopelessly in love with this boy, and she barely even talked to him. Classic anime confessions. You confess to someone you've never even talked to before. So her wish to Hanako is to have her love be returned by this guy. So of course when she gets to the bathroom stall, she notices that Hanako is not a girl, despite the girl name, but it's actually a boy ghost, as the title of course implied, or at least before the title was changed. And kind of the humorous part about this is the fact that he's actually a nice guy! It's like you're expecting some Twilight Zone deal with the devil going on here. And it turns out he's just a nice guy. He doesn't really want anything from Nene. And he wants to help her without using magic, without using any unnatural means, because then she'll have to pay a price. So he wants to help her without actually doing the deal. So they have like this funny montage together trying to get the boy to like her. Like he's going through a how-to book on how to get guys to like girls, and he's giving her advice, and it's all like turning out terribly. And basically Nene figures out that she could have this guy fall in love with her if she cursed herself. And of course Hanako is like, no, don't do that, but she does it anyway. But she doesn't go through with actually making the guy fall in love with her. She changes her mind after it's already too late. She's already cursed herself. She realizes she never actually liked him, she just wanted a boyfriend, of course. So instead, Hanako-kun makes a different deal with her. To minimize the curse's effects on her, in exchange, she has to become his assistant. And thus begins the series. So it is obviously very goofy, but as we go further down the line, we get introduced to like more of a plot, actually. We later get introduced to an actual villain or group of villains, I guess. And the big thing about the school and what role the main characters play is that all the ghosts and apparitions in the school are real. But whatever rumors people spread about those ghosts will change them. Because kids love to spread ghost stories and, you know, spread tall tales about these actual ghosts in the school, they need to change those rumors to prevent actual people from getting hurt. So if you had a friendly ghost who was just, you know, minding its own business, but then a rumor started that that ghost is actually a serial killer, and if you blink 3 times, he'll show up and just shove a knife in your face. Then that friendly ghost will be forcibly changed, and it won't be so friendly anymore. So that's an interesting, unique little plot and a unique take on ghosts in the afterlife, how rumors can change who they actually are. But it's also really cool listening to all of the ghost stories that they come up with for this series. It actually kind of reminds me of being a kid again and hearing these types of ghost stories in the hallways of school, you know? And of course we get introduced to another character down the line who joins the cast of these 3 main characters, and the other character who gets introduced is a cleric of sorts. So he wants to exorcise Hanako-kun, and he can see the spirits, and, you know, it all fits. But he's a low-level cleric, so he can't really exorcise. He's not powerful enough to actually exorcise Hanako-kun, but he is powerful enough to help protect Nene from all these crazy ghosts. So he plays a role, and of course, there's a love triangle. You knew it was coming! Don't lie to me. Honestly though, with that first like chapter being set up with her liking this guy for virtually no reason, she just wants somebody to love her back. With all that build up, it makes sense for there to be some kind of love triangle in this series because it's perfect irony. She wants somebody to love her back. Little does she know there are actually 2 guys who are in love with her. And even though she thinks that her legs are such a huge problem, such a boy repeller, that they don't care about her legs. It's honestly really funny with the video that I uploaded yesterday about boob size and how women are like really insecure about boob size. A lot of the comments were just saying like, hey, we don't actually care about boob size that much. There are actually even a lot of men who prefer like smaller boobs. It's just really funny. There's like women, they get so insecure about the smallest flaws about themselves. But the real big flaw that prevents you from getting anywhere is the fact that you're insecure. That's the big flaw. Most guys are just happy to get any girlfriend. But anyway, I enjoyed this series a lot, especially when I was watching the anime. I was watching the dub. Dub's not that bad, actually. And that first episode, like, really hit all the right beats with me. It genuinely blew me away in a sense because it was very simple, straightforward, but also very funny and touching and just nice. The characters were really charming right away, and I knew that I wanted to see more, and as I got to see more, I got hooked. I watched the entire anime, and then I got caught up with the entire manga in a single day. I thought since the manga series had started like 5 years ago, maybe it would have been done. Oh, what a fool I was. As it turns out, it's still ongoing. And for those of you who also like to watch the anime before you check out the manga, I will say there are some things in the anime that are out of order. And you know that some anime will do that, where they'll just like mix things up a little bit because they feel like it'll be better or easier to tell the story in this order. But it does feel noticeable. And I don't by any means dislike the anime, but I will say the fight scenes, there are fight scenes, but the fight scenes suck in the anime. They're so bad. It's so boring looking. You certainly don't get any Mob Psycho level animation for that fighting. It's literally so bad that like you see someone tighten their fist and then the next thing you know is somebody's being like knocked away from them and you're thinking just, wait, what happened? Did they punch them? You cut away! So I couldn't see! But yeah, the anime doesn't really do the action scenes very well. I will also say that even though this is a shonen, I'm willing to bet that it'll appeal to a lot of girls. Not just because of the love triangle, but you know, the style and the comedy. There's a lot of comedy, of course. But one of the reasons why I like this series is because it touches upon a lot of different genres. Like you got a little bit of sci-fi, you know, with the ghosts and all that. A little bit of horror with the ghost stories. A whole lot of comedy. You got the romance. You got the action, although it's not as good in the anime. There's also a lot of mystery because there's so many questions that I've yet to see answered in this series, and it's driving me crazy. But you know that they're saving it for like big reveals. And there have been a lot of big reveals. Even like questions that I didn't have before, all of a sudden they'll just reveal. I feel like this could easily appeal to a lot of people, but a lot of people might be turned off because of, you know, the art style and the terrible English title. But I think it's a really good series. I think it's a definite recommend. Like I said, the anime just came out this year. If you want to go check it out, go for it. So, have you checked out this series? Have you seen the anime? What do you think? Leave your comments down below. Remember to like the video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye! Program restart.